Hey, it's Aaron, and today we're going to do our interior walkthrough in the 2022 Toyota Corolla Cross. So this is the crossover version of the Corolla. It's, as far as I know, not really mechanically related. I think there are two different platforms. I don't remember for sure. But this is for comparables, this is about the size and shape. I'll show you photos, of course, but this is the size and shape of the like Subaru Crosstrek. So you're looking at a vehicle that sits a little higher. It's a wagon style, so it's a little bigger. It is a surprisingly decent car. I kind of expected it to just be, you know, kind of a, well, I mean, when I first saw it, I thought, oh, great, they're gonna try to target Subaru, but they're gonna do a terrible job of it. And honestly, I don't think this is comparable to the Subaru because I think they are two different buyers. I don't think the buyer of that Crosstrek is going to be looking at this, and I don't think people looking at this are really going to be looking at that Subaru either. And the reason I say that is because this is not a activity off-road focused vehicle like Subaru tends to be. It's more of a, I need more space vehicle, but I don't want to go all the way to a RAV4 for it. So this is kind of fitting that median right there. And it does a pretty good job of it. It's got a decent price point. It's good in the places it needs to be good. It's I'm not going to say fail, but it does fall short on some other spots that I'll point out a few of those here and more of them in my walk around review of this car. So let's do our walkthrough like we normally do. I'll show you the gauges, buttons, etc., and talk about what everything is for and what it does. Okay, over here on the left, you can see we got the door handle and so on. Down here, windows. None of these are automatics except this one, but they do automatically go down. They just don't come back up with just, you know, one touch. Over here is your window lock. Here's your door locks. And here's for adjusting the side mirrors. Over hidden under here, you can see you got your dimmer switch right there, and you got your high beam, automatic high beam button right there. This is the one that you miss the most, so just remember it's down there. Then go into the steering wheel. Over here on the left, this is mostly driver information controls. You got some telematics for your telephone. This is a back button. This goes around the menu and this is okay. Down here is volume control and your voice activation. Voice activation is the clunky old menu prompt. I didn't understand you. Oops, start over. That kind of thing. You still see that in some vehicles, but companies are starting to figure that out eventually. You know, it's getting there. Over here is the cruise control mostly. So you have your distance right here, lane keeping right here, set and reset here, cancel is in the middle. This turns it on right here. And then down here you have your input mode for the stereo, and you have your track or station back and forth here. Now you can set these to either go one at a time through stations, like for Sirius XM or whatever, or you can have it go through your presets. You set all of that up there. Default, I believe, is to go through presets. So looking up here, first to the dongles, this is lighting, so you can see it is on. That's daytime runners, that's marker lights, that's regular headlights, and that's all the way off. And then back and forth for your brights, right? And up and down for those signal turns that you should be using in that order. Over here is your washer wipers. This is the rear wiper, so you just flip it like that. This is your aggressiveness right there, and then up and down you can see the modes it goes through for that. Pretty simple, actually. I like these. They're easy to grab too. Like, I can run these while still holding the steering wheel, which is great. Over here is your gauge cluster. So this is all virtual, which means it is constantly visible. So you can see with even a little bit of glare happening over here, it's not interfering with vision at all. So over here is a tachometer. Don't know why you'd need it. This is a CVT, but whatever. Tachometer. Over here is a fuel gauge and engine heat combo gauge. So engine heat down there, fuel gauge up there. This is exceedingly fuel efficient. I'll just point that out right away. Over here, here's a digital speedometer, and then your driver information screen. You can see the kind of MPGs I've been getting with almost all around town driving since I reset that trip. That is all just driving around town. Yeah, it's amazing. And then you can see a couple other things. There's the outside temp, there's the odometer over there, and the distance to empty. Now, to change some of that stuff, if I go through these menus, I can flip it up, and I can go back and forth. Right here is a lot of settings for like your driver nannies and, you know, so your safety stuff and whatnots, blind spot management and so forth. Here's the tire pressures. Here's what's going on in the audio. Here's what's turned on and what's turned off and so forth. Some of these have sub-menus. You go up and down like this, right? So this is equipped with all-wheel drive, and this screen right here will tell you where the torque is going. So yeah, just a few things like that. Pretty neat and mostly useful. So not complicated. There are no complicated things on this screen, on these menus. So there you go. That's what that is. Now, going to the left. Hi, other camera. Going to the left. Down here is your push button start, or onto the right. Going to the right. Whatever. Here is your infotainment screen. So it is a Toyota infotainment screen, not the best screen on the planet, but not the worst. And I will give them lots of kudos for leaving all kinds of hard buttons to make things faster and easier. This is a home button, put you on the screen we're at right now. This is menu, which is weird because it's basically just an apps menu, right, more or less. But you can see that, and then you can go into the sub menu of apps. I don't have anything installed because I don't actually have my phone connected right now. At least I don't think I do. And I definitely don't have it plugged in. And then this is the map. Here's your volume control, and then you can push it to mute. Over here is your tracks and seek, right? Phone right there, apps, that screen I was just on right there, and then this is the tuner. So nicely done. I am very glad that they kept the hard buttons. That's a big deal, and I don't like it when companies delete them and make it all virtual, because you end up looking at the screen way too much instead of looking at the road. So a couple of vents here, Duke's lights right there, and then here's your climate control. So this, just push it and you're on auto. You can set the temperature. This has dual in this particular one, so you can sync it and set that temperature on the right. And then down here are hard buttons. Most of them are pretty self-explanatory. Here's your defrost buttons, so front and rear. The rear also does the side mirrors in this model, and then there you go. Down below that, on this one, is bun warmers right here, one USB port, a spot for your phone that is also a wireless charger because of the model that we're in. Here's your shifter. Pull the trigger up front, move it through the gears down there. Down here is your park brake. Pull it, set, push to release. It auto releases when you shift into gear, FYI. Over here is your launch control. It's a hill hold, but I like using launch control. And this is your drink holders. So pretty cool. Those are a good placement and good size, FYI. And then over here is a little cubby. It's pretty deep. Little cubby with a 12 volt in it, and that's about it, but it's good size for the size of the vehicle we're in. Now, looking at the dash, they did do some things. They put the trim in, the multi-level. They did some stuff to really kind of upscale this car, even though this is soft, this is hard. So there's a lot of hard plastic in here. They did have to think, budget when they're making this car, because people that buy this are on a budget. But this is nicely done with the tiers. I kind of like that. It's a good look. Here's your down under here is your glove box, and then just pretty basic on the rest of it. This is basic fake leather with some vinylish leather, neatly cushioned though. These are nice. They feel good. These are actually really comfortable seats. And then back there, you have pretty good seating in the back, and you have a lot of cargo space. I'll show you some photos of that stuff. The piano black is okay. I'm not a big fan of that, but you know, there's a couple of options for this car. So decent enough. Whoops, there's my, just put my fingers in front of the camera like a pro. Anyway, decent enough. I like the interior actually more than I thought I would. I was a little worried about this interior. I thought maybe, it was going to be, I thought for sure it was going to be like super cheap. But it's not bad at all. It's actually pretty good. So a couple of complaints with this car. Engine, very anemic. The CVT, even more so. So they're a good match in that regard, which is not a great thing. You will probably not get up to freeway speed on your on-ramp to merge in this car, no matter how hard you try to romp that pedal. It only pushes down so far, and there's only so much you can get out of that little tiny engine up there. But fuel economy very good, and the overall feel of this car, it's a decent daily driver. It's not a sports car, it's not fun, but it's not terrible. Like, it's not uncomfortable, it's not terrible. So it's for the market they're aiming for, I think this is a very good match. If you're looking for something sporty, you're probably not buying a Toyota to start with. So yeah, this is a nice feeling car and a really good size. I'm surprised at how much stuff and people you can get in here. 3 across if they're kids. I have a 11, 12, and 13-year-old, and they fit 3 across just fine. I try not to put my 13-year-old in the center, even though he's the skinniest, because his giant afro, I can't see through the rear. But yeah, the 3 across in the back if they're kids is fine. The adult seating for adults sitting at the outboards in the back, pretty comfortable. It's nice. The rear, the storage area, cargo area, really good. I'll show you, if you click down below in the description, there'll be a link to the walk around review, and you'll see me demonstrate those things. Really nicely done on the interior of this car for the price point that this is. And I keep saying price point, and I don't talk about the price. So I'm going to lean over, reach into the box, and see if I can find a Monroney. Otherwise, I'll just have to put it on the screen. I don't find one. I think I already took it in to scan it. So I'll put the Monroney on the screen. You can look at it, see how cheap this thing is. It's amazing. And there you go. So that's the 2022 Corolla Cross. This particular model has some pretty nice stuff, and I think the price point is bang on. So there you go. This has been Aaron. Talk to you again soon. Subscribe.